Thank you for joining us for CFP Board's Business Update webinar. I'm Yusuf Abugideiri, and I'm pleased to be moderator for today's event. For those who don't know me, I've been with Yeski Bowie for 8 years, and I'm currently the Senior Financial Planner on the team. I graduated from Virginia Tech's Financial Planning program and currently sit on the recent Alumni Board for the school's College of Business. Today, we will hear updates from the latest Board of Directors meeting. We have updates on the Department of Labor's Fiduciary Rule and the work of CFP Board's Commission on Standards. We'll look at CFP Board's 4 A's, strategic priorities, with updates on the CFP Board Center for Financial Planning, as well as CFP Board's Public Awareness Campaign. And we'll also address questions from the audience. Before we get into today's presentation, let me cover a few housekeeping topics. If you run into issues with the audio for this presentation, or it seems like the slides are out of sync, try refreshing your webinar console. There is a Q&A function on your screen that you can use to submit questions to us at any time during the program. We'll try to address as many questions as possible during a Q&A session at the end of the program. And if we don't get to your question today during the broadcast, CFP Board will follow up to provide you with an answer. With me today are Blaine Aikin, 2017 Chair of the Board of Directors, Richard Salmen, 2017 Chair-elect, and Kevin Keller, CFP Board CEO. Thank you all for joining us.
It's great to be here, and thank you for coming to CFP Board, Yusuf.
Happy to be here. We're broadcasting from CFP Board's office in Washington, D.C., where the Board of Directors just wrapped up its first in-person meeting of 2017. Blaine, what updates can you share about that meeting?
Well, thank you, Yusuf. The Board of Directors has been meeting this past few days for our regular business meeting, and this was actually the first in-person meeting for our 4 newest board members. At last November's meeting, we elected an outstanding group of individuals to join us on the board. Jack Brode and Doug King are prominent CFP professionals, and we also welcome 2 accomplished non-CFP professionals to serve as public members. They are Denise Voigt-Crawford and Dane Snowden. So we're really delighted to have this outstanding group join us on the board, and they certainly hit the ground running. So at this week's meeting, we convened a roundtable discussion that brought together executives and senior leadership from some of the most prominent certification and designation granting organizations that serve in financial services. So that means we had panelists from the AICPA, the American College, IMCA, and CFA Institute. And we also had representatives from the leadership at the Financial Planning Association, NAPA, and the Financial Planning Services Board. So we asked the panel to envision the professional landscape for financial services over the next 5 to 10 years. And they addressed such questions as what are the ideal visions for the future landscape. Each person gave their own views on that. We also asked what are the roles of regulation as distinct from certification. Why are there so many designations in the financial services industry, or as we prefer to call it, financial services profession, as that was discussed widely. And then we looked at what opportunities do our organizations have to advance professionalism overall, both individually and together. It really turned out to be a great discussion, as I think you would agree, Richard and Kevin. I thought it was fantastic.
There was a topic there that came out, the topic of professionalism.
Right.
We talked about professions, professionalism, and I thought that was, there was a lot of energy around the fact that all 5 of the organizations have an interest in advancing professionalism in financial services.
Absolutely. It kind of broadened the discussion, and really I think everybody was able to coalesce around that concept. So, and I think we came away with a number of ideas that we're going to be able to follow up on, and they showed our strong mutual interest in a lot of areas. So really set the groundwork for some productive future discussions and collaboration.
Great. And what updates can you share about CFP Board's longstanding collaboration with FPA and NAPFA as the Financial Planning Coalition, and about the coalition's work related to the Department of Labor's Fiduciary Rule?
Well, as you know, CFP Board has been a long-time advocate for fiduciary level advice in financial services. And it's been our position that financial advice should be delivered to the public with fiduciary accountability and transparency, always serving the client's best interest. Based on this, we've worked with FPA and NAPFA as the Financial Planning Coalition to support the DOL's fiduciary rulemaking, and we've opposed any effort to delay or repeal that rule. And as I'm sure that you're all aware, the DOL's fiduciary rule really has been under attack recently. The President issued a directive for the DOL to review and possibly rescind the rule, and the current DOL staff have requested a 60-day delay of implementation. Well, the Financial Planning Coalition, as I just said, does not support a delay in the rule, and it overtly opposes any action on the rule that would allow conflicts of interest without strong fiduciary safeguards. Fiduciary concept really is important, not just for investors, but it's also important for our profession as a whole. On February 14th, CFP Board, on behalf of the coalition, met with the Office of Management Budget, urging officials not to stop the regulation. We're among nearly a dozen organizations that met with the OMB to push to have the regulation take effect as scheduled. It really is kind of disappointing to watch the fiduciary rule that was 6 years in the making and on the verge of being applied to be thrown into what really amounts to a current state of limbo. But yet, with all the discussion that's been taking place regarding the fiduciary standards for financial advice, we have actually seen some pretty positive impact, regardless of where the DOL's fiduciary rule does end up. As an example, a number of firms have already taken steps to implement new processes and structures in compliance with the rule, and they've indicated that they're going to continue on that path regardless of whether the rule is actually implemented by the DOL. Another positive element of this is that our advocacy on the rule and elsewhere have given us the opportunity to inform policymakers about the value of CFP certification specifically. So, for example, in our comment letter to the DOL, we pointed out that the CFP Board's Standards of Professional Conduct require CFP professionals to adhere to a fiduciary standard when providing financial planning and services. So you may also know that the DOL guidance for the rule affirmatively recognizes CFP professionals for providing fiduciary level advice to clients. We're going to continue to monitor the status of the DOL rule. We're going to support its implementation, and we're certainly going to work to raise the visibility of financial planning in the CFP certification process.
And Blaine, as I understand, CFP Board is also at work on potential changes to its Code of Ethics and Rules of Conduct. What updates can you share about that work?
Yeah, well, this is something we've talked a little bit about before, and I am really excited about this effort. It's been going on now for a while, and I think it has the potential to be really, really impactful. So the CFP Board's Commission on Standards is reviewing our standards of professional conduct, and we're looking specifically at the Code of Ethics, the Rules of Conduct, the practice standards, as well as the terminology that's used in those standards. The CFP Board conducts these periodic reviews of all of our requirements and standards related to CFP certification, and that's intended to make sure that they remain strong and relevant. The last time, and you would know this better than I, Kevin, because the last time we updated the standards was back in May of 2007, and a lot has happened since then. So this review really is very, very important. The Commission has a number of important issues to address. They range from the basic structure of the standards to definitions of key terms like financial planning and fiduciary, to requirements related to disclosures and conflicts of interest, to questions about the appropriate standard of care for services provided by CFP professionals. But we've assembled really a superior group. It's really a top-notch group to address these issues. Ray Ferrara is our former board chair and former chair of our Disciplinary and Ethics Commission, and he serves as the Commission's chair. The board approved the launch of the Commission back in November of 2015, and the Commission was formed and began its work really quickly after that. So I'm pleased to report that the Commission is making really great progress and that we're anticipating releasing proposed revisions to the standards in mid-2017. So the Commission's work is taking place within a very well-defined and intentionally deliberative process. It features opportunities for public input even before the Commission began developing recommendations. At the top of 2016, the Commission held 9 public forums around the country to get initial input. And we also had special meetings with leaders of the FPA, NAPFA, and FPSB, as well as a number of key volunteer groups at CFP Board, and that would include the Disciplinary and Ethics Commission as well as the Business Model Commission. So the Commission on Standards has held several in-person meetings, and they formed subcommittees that have been meeting regularly over the past year or so. So we're really on track to release a proposed set of revisions to the standards in mid-2017, which is almost on us. It really is amazing how much has gone into this. So that's all going to kick off a new round of public forums, and there will be stakeholder meetings to get input and finalize the work of the Commission. All of us on the board really appreciate the dedicated work of the Commission, and we're thankful to those who came out and shared their thoughts with us during the public forums. So it's very important for CFP Board's mission and for our strategic priority of authority that we have a very strong and relevant standards of professional conduct. And we really do look forward to sharing more updates on the Commission's work as the year progresses. It's going to be a big year for us in this regard.
Thank you, Blaine. Richard, can you review CFP Board's new set of strategic priorities and talk more about the authority priority?
I'll be happy to do that. Last November, the Board of Directors adopted the 4 A's strategic priorities that you see here. The process started in 2015, and it involved an environmental scan of discussions with FPA and NAPFA and with our international colleagues affiliated with FPSB. And we also invited feedback from all CFP professionals through an online survey. These new strategic priorities build on the successes that we achieved through IGRA, the outcomes that were adopted in 2012. All of the new strategic priorities are tied to CFP Board's mission to benefit the public. Growing awareness of CFP certification as the recognized standard for competent and ethical financial planners. Expanding access to competent and ethical financial planning by increasing the number and diversity of CFP professionals. Ensuring accountability by holding CFP professionals to rigorous standards and by advocating for fiduciary advice, recognition of financial planning as a profession, and effective regulation of financial planners, and serving as the respected authority for the profession by setting standards, certifying financial planners, and by advancing the Center for Financial Planning. Here you see a visualization of the new strategic plan, which we anticipate will take us through 2021. Yusuf, you asked us specifically about the authority priority. The authority priority encompasses all of CFP Board's work to set standards and certify financial planners, and, as Blaine mentioned, it also includes the work of the Commission on Standards to review the standards of professional conduct. The CFP Board Center for Financial Planning is also an essential part of the authority priority, even if the center really sits at the intersection of many of our objectives. Through our strategic planning, we've looked at ways we can most effectively further our priorities with a focus on initiatives that have the potential to generate progress across multiple areas. The center is truly a realization of that broad and integrated focus. So let's talk a little bit about the center. It officially launched in November of 2015 with recognition of TD Ameritrade as the lead founding sponsor. The impetus for this exciting new initiative was to address the challenges facing the financial planning profession. The center seeks to create a more diverse and sustainable financial planning profession so that every American has access to competent and ethical financial planning advice. This is something that CFP Board cannot do alone. But we are in a unique position to serve as a convener and catalyst to develop solutions. We are generating collective input and resources for collective action and focusing on a solutions-based approach that leads from research to action to results. The center's initial work is focused on 3 key initiatives. The first, diversity, is focused on addressing the lack of gender and racial diversity within the financial planning profession so that it can meet the growing and increasingly diverse needs of the American consumer. The second, workforce development, is focused on attracting and developing the next generation of financial planning professionals with the knowledge and skills to competently and ethically serve the public while bringing innovative research-based techniques and approaches to advance the practice of financial planning. And the third, the academic home, is focused on opportunities for showcasing and publishing new research adding to the financial planning body of knowledge, and supporting tenure and promotion of financial planning faculty with the goal of creating more financial planning programs at colleges and universities, more students, and ultimately more qualified professionals entering the workforce. Here you see some of the ways we are starting to address diversity. The Win-to-Win membership program we established late last year already has generated nearly 600 mentor-to-mentee engagement, and our Women's Initiative Council continues its work focused on increasing the number of women CFP professionals. We're getting ready to launch an I Am a CFP Pro awareness campaign to showcase financial planning as a great profession for women, millennials, and racially diverse leaders. The Women's Initiative has given us a head start on addressing diversity, and the Center is following up on the recommendations outlined in the white paper developed through that initiative. As I mentioned earlier, the research to solutions model we use for the Women's Initiative is providing us a map for moving forward on racial diversity. We've established a racial diversity advisory group and will be conducting research, publishing findings, and recommendations in a white paper. For workforce development, we're conducting pilot projects to establish re-entry internship programs for experienced professionals seeking to return to the workforce, and we're working through financial services firms to do this. Our Career Center is a great resource that connects financial services firms of all sizes with qualified professionals who hold or are pursuing the CFP certification and provides a variety of resources for job seekers and employers. We have also established several scholarship programs through the Center that will provide support to individuals who are completing their financial planning education or who are preparing to take the CFP exam. Research-based solutions are a key part of the Center's approach to all of our initiatives, and we'll be conducting research to develop solutions for workforce development. For the academic home, we convened the first International Academic Research Colloquium for Financial Planning and Related Disciplines last month. This year, we are releasing the first in the Center's book series with Wiley, Communication Essentials for Financial Planners. We worked with Columbia University on a new program to help get more qualified faculty into financial planning programs at colleges and universities, which is being offered in May 2017 and again in January of 2018. Progress is being made on an academic research journal, and we are working to establish a website on the financial planning body of knowledge with a searchable body of research. We're confident that the Center's academic home, along with diversity and workforce development initiatives, will elevate financial planning to the same level as more established disciplines such as accounting, law, and medicine. And we're especially excited about the potential impact of the academic home initiative for the profession and for our registered programs.
You know, Richard, that's a great overview of the Center, and I want to jump in here for a minute and talk about last month's Academic Research Colloquium. The Colloquium was truly a landmark event for the Center's academic home, as well as, I think, a landmark event for the profession of financial planning. The Colloquium was attended by about 200 academics and researchers, and it featured an impressive agenda. We had 5 distinguished academicians as keynote presenters, as well as about 100 research presentations and poster sessions. The research presented came not only from academics who focus, our traditional market focus specifically on financial planning, but also from related disciplines like psychology and behavioral finance. We had a tremendous response to the call for papers that we issued last spring. And while we had an acceptance rate of about 30%. So we only accepted 30% of the papers that came in, and that's a very competitive rate, and that's important to the work of the Center and the academic home, because we want to be a place that showcases rigor in academic presentations. We've had exceptionally positive feedback from the Colloquium participants. We have a dire shortage of academically qualified faculty to teach and lead these programs. And the Colloquium is going to be essential to addressing that concern as we give a place for faculty, both aspiring PhD students and faculty, to get the professional recognition they need to advance their careers. While the audience is primarily academics, we see building the academic home and the body of knowledge for the profession as a long-term workforce development initiative. You know, when we're out on the road and we were in Florida, I was there with board member Susan John last month. And if you think about it, people, when we're talking about the center, they get the diversity, they get the workforce development, but they're asked, how does the academic home fit into the work of the center? Well, more qualified faculty, which is the real objective of the center, more qualified faculty equals more financial planning programs in colleges. And that equals more students and eventually provides more qualified financial planners, we think certified financial planners, to provide service to the public. So it's not only tied directly to the mission of the center, but it is essentially an arm, if you will, to the work that we do at CFP Board. We are thrilled that the first colloquium was such a success, and we look forward to the 2018 colloquium, which will be in February of next year. So as we've shared, the center has some ambitious programs that are strengthening the profession at numerous levels. All of these will require support from across the profession. You heard Richard say that these issues, the workforce development issues and diversity issues, they're bigger than any one organization. They're bigger than any one firm. And so we're coming together to address these issues. We are currently engaged in a $10 million capital campaign seeking broad-based support for the center from across the profession and beyond. Your donation to the Center for Financial Planning will make a difference and support important research and education and workforce development initiatives that advance the profession of financial planning, and I would suggest advance the professionalism of financial planning. When you donate to the center, you will join thousands of CFP professionals who are supporting the center's work to advance the center. Please take a close look at the center's website to learn more about the center and consider how you can support this important initiative. Your financial support is appreciated, but we would also appreciate contributions of your time and your subject matter expertise.
Thank you, Richard and Kevin, for sharing that update on the center and its initiatives. Kevin, what can you share about CFP Board's priorities to expand the public's access to financial planning and growing the public's awareness of CFP professionals?
Yusuf, I'm very pleased to share that the number of CFP professionals in the U.S. is nearing 77,000. As of December 31st last year, we had 76,760. When I joined CFP Board back in 2007, it was on May 1st, there were 54,626 CFP professionals, approximately, Richard. You know, that's been a 40% growth, and it's been a real honor to be a part of CFP Board during that growth. It's really a testament, though, to the CFP professional community and everyone who supports CFP certification. I think together we're making progress in creating a recognized and respected financial planning profession. It's great to see that CFP certification is increasingly recognized as important within the profession, and we're pleased about the remarkable gains that we've made to increase the public awareness of CFP certification. Our public awareness campaign has been in the field since April of 2011, and our production of the DJ television ad back in 2015 was groundbreaking. Between 2014 and 2015 alone, we saw a 4 percentage point increase among our target market. We call that very proprietary target market the mass affluent initiator. These are folks who fit not only the demographic of the mass affluent, but also have a mindset that they're inclined to seek a certified financial planner. We've almost doubled unaided awareness in that target group over the 5 years of the campaign. As more consumers become aware of CFP professionals and seek their services, we want to ensure that we have enough CFP professionals to meet the demand. This year, as in the past, our primary advertising and communications efforts focus on the spring tax season when finances are top of mind for most consumers. So here are the highlights of the upcoming spring activities for the campaign. For TV, between February 13th and April 16th, the DJ TV ad, as well as one we call Faucet, are airing on national cable television, including CNN, NBC Sports, the Golf Channel, Fox News, MSNBC, and others. Our radio ads and sponsorship messages are airing between March 13th and April 9th on popular NPR shows like Morning Edition and All Things Considered, as well as ESPN's Mike and Mike radio show and TV simulcast. And throughout the spring, we'll have social media advertising as well as online banner ads and online videos on popular websites where consumers get news and information about current events, finances, sports, and other entertainment. So look for the ads on the websites of Time, Money, Fortune, Travel and Leisure, Food and Wine, People, and Golf. All of the campaign's advertisements and communications lead to our consumer website, which is letsmakeaplan.org. This is where consumers can find financial planning information based on where they are in life and search for and contact a CFP professional. The website is continuously updated with new content each Wednesday, with blog posts written by our new Senior CFP Board Ambassador, Jill Schlesinger, and our dedicated team of more than 50 volunteer CFP Board Ambassadors. For those of you who haven't heard, I'm pleased to share that Jill Schlesinger is, again, as I said, our new Senior CFP Board Ambassador. Among her duties, Jill serves as a resource for the press and on social media and supports our public awarenesses campaign to communicate the value of working CFP with CFP professionals. She's well known for offering financial commentary and tips that are thoughtful, impactful, and make a difference. And I'm thrilled to have her be a part of CFP Board in this new capacity, and I'm thrilled to call her my friend. I also want to recognize the great work of Eleanor Blaney. I think many of you know Eleanor has done this job essentially as our consumer advocate for the past 8 years. And she is transitioning from working on as consumer advocate to a new role where she will be special advisor on gender diversity, working with Marilyn Morman Gillis and the Center for Financial Planning. In this role, she'll continue to build upon the Center's Women's Initiative and provide valuable guidance on its other initiatives to increase racial, ethnic, and generational diversity within the financial planning profession. I'm grateful that we're benefiting from Eleanor's continued contributions, and I'm grateful to have Jill on board to expand our consumer outreach.
Thank you, Kevin. We've covered a lot this afternoon. Let's turn the program over to questions from our listeners. Our first one is from Christopher, who writes, I would like to be more a part of the CFP board. If there's anything that can be done, please let me know.
Well, That's an excellent question, Christopher, and we're always happy to have the help. There's a variety of ways to get involved with CFP Board. We're always looking for people to assist with exam development activities, for example, also to work with our Disciplinary and Ethics Commission hearings, and there's a variety of other working groups and committees that you can participate in. So if you're interested also in supporting our women's initiative, you can sign up to be a WIN advocate or to participate in the Win-to-Win mentoring program. So if you're interested in serving on the board of directors, it's also important to note, and this is, of course, of particular interest to you, Richard, since you're in the nominating committee role. So we're looking for nominees that will be opening up soon. So if you're interested in serving on the board of directors, please keep that in mind. You can learn more about all of these opportunities and submit an application through our website, and that would be at cfp.net/volunteer or through the center's website at centerforfinancialplanning.org/volunteer.
Great. Thank you, Blaine. Our next question is from Jacob, who asks about how renewal fees are spent.
Yusuf, I'll take that question. Jacob, first of all, thank you for asking that question. The staff, myself and the 65 or 70 other CFP board staff members take our role very seriously to be financial stewards of the money that hardworking CFP professionals pay to maintain their certification. So you ask how the fees are spent. I think the global answer I would give you is they're spent in a way that's aligned with the strategic priorities of the board of directors. So I report to a volunteer board of directors. I have a CEO oversight committee. We have outside auditors come in. But let's take a look at that $325 that you spend to maintain your certification. First of all, $145 of that amount goes directly to the public awareness campaign. It is for the direct expenses. There's no overhead charge to that. It's the direct expenses of the public awareness campaign, and that amounts to about $11 million. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, and yet it's less than 1% of the advertising budget for banks, brokerages, and insurance companies. Then the rest of the money, $180, goes for the other three areas. So you heard Richard talk about the 4 A's, the 4 strategic priorities. 180 goes for awareness. We're working on access. That's really our marketing efforts, but serving as the respected authority for the profession by setting standards. Blaine talked about the work that we're doing out in the field to update the standards of conduct for CFP professionals. And then on the accountability side, you know, the work that we have in maintaining the continuing education, the experience requirement, and the work of our professional standards group in enforcing our standards. So the quick answer is the renewal fees are spent in a way that's aligned with our strategic priorities.
Perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Next question comes from Russell, who asks, what new advertising does the board have planned to replace the DJ ad?
Well, you know, Russell, we've received a lot of positive feedback from CFP professionals who like the DJ ad. I've talked to some people when I've been out on the road who, you know, especially one guy who was a DJ, he wasn't very happy with the DJ ad. But you know, we're probably coming close to the end of the DJ ad, but we think it's been really effective at increasing the public's awareness of CFP certification. We review the performance of the TV ads and the other campaign creative on an ongoing basis, and we may replace or update ads, you know, here in the near future. The DJ ad, though, really was a game changer.
Great. Next question is coming from Frank, who has a related question asking about what new marketing campaigns are in the works.
Well, Frank, I think we've covered a lot of that when we talked about the public awareness campaign in detail today. But CFP Board also has marketing campaigns focused on our access priority, which is expanding access to competent and ethical financial planning by increasing the number and diversity of CFP professionals. We are very excited about the IMA CFP Pro campaign that the Center is preparing to showcase financial planning as a great profession for women, millennials, and racially diverse leaders. I just recently got to preview this campaign a few days ago, and it features a group of young, diverse CFP professionals who talk about their career paths and why they chose to become certified. We want young people considering their career options to see financial planning and especially CFP certification as a good option for people just like them, and the campaign is setting out to do just that. The campaign materials are still being finalized, so we don't have them to share with you today, but expect to launch the campaign around April 4th, so less than a month from now. And we look forward to sharing them with you soon and hope you will all share them with your contacts.
Thanks, Richard. Next question is coming from Frank as well. What is the status?
Or maybe another Frank.
Could be a different one, that's right. What is the status of the 2-hour mandatory CFP Ethics Course? Will the course be developed solely by the CFP?
Well, Frank, thank you for asking that question. First of all, we will not be developing a CE course, although we take great interest in making sure that those ethics courses are responsive to the kinds of cases that we're seeing coming before our disciplinary and ethics commission. So a number of years ago, we set out 5 or 6 different learning objectives that each provider of CE would have to cover. And I can imagine, as Blaine talked about with the new standards of professional conduct, we'll be updating the requirements for our ethics course concurrent with the adoption of those new standards. Our goal with our enforcement process, I will tell you though, is not to catch people doing things wrong. We want to help you comply. We want to help you deliver service that's aligned with our standards. And so we're always looking at how we can help guide the instructors of our ethics courses in a way that is providing information that best helps address the issues that we see coming before the commission.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, so we have a couple related questions here focused on the Center for Financial Planning's diversity initiatives. First, Mac asks, how are diversity and inclusion benchmarks being measured? And then Keith asks, when will the board release the racial and ethnic composition of CFP certificates?
Well, it's a really good question, and this is an area which is key to what we want to do going forward. So, Kevin, maybe I'll jump in here to start and then ask you to chime in as well. Well, when it comes to our access priority, we have set some very specific goals for increasing the overall number of CFP professionals and the number of women CFP professionals. By the end of 2021, we want to have more than 92,500 CFP professionals, and we want to increase the number of women CFP professionals to more than 23,100. So that would bring the number of women CFP professionals to about 25% of the total population of CFP professionals. And that's 2 percentage points higher than the 23% that we've seen for many years, unfortunately. It really hasn't moved that much historically, but we're starting to see some productive signs here, aren't we, Kevin?
You know, we really are. In 2016, we had the most new female CFP professionals ever in the history of the organization. It was a 4.2% increase. Unfortunately, the overall amount went up 4.2% as well, so it was a good year for us. We didn't make a lot of progress, but we're seeing with the March exam registration some positive signs there. You know, Keith asked, when will we release the racial and ethnic composition of CFP certificates? Keith and I have had this conversation a number of times. For racial, it's coming, Keith, is the answer. For racial and ethnic diversity, we do plan to set specific benchmarks and goals. However, we don't yet, but we're getting close, currently have the racial and ethnic information for a significant portion of the CFP community. We are starting to reach out to request that information, which will allow us to set accurate benchmarks and develop specific goals for racial and ethnic diversity. We're looking forward to sharing that information in the coming months.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our next question is from Mark, who asks, why don't we let the marketplace decide how much diversity they want in the financial planning field?
Well, Mark, one of the reasons we established the Center for Financial Planning was because marketplace trends don't look very good for our profession. One of the statistics that Kevin loves to quote, and it's because it's real, is that we have more CFP professionals over the age of 70 than we do under the age of 30. In other words, our financial planning workforce is aging, and a good portion of the public doesn't recognize our profession or value working with our professionals, and more financial advice is being delivered through technology. If you compare the financial planning profession to other established professions that are faring better in the marketplace, our lack of diversity is evident. To remain relevant, we need to investigate and invest in responding to the issues that may be holding our profession back. As we did with our women's initiative, we'll be using a research to solutions model for all of our diversity strategies. We'll work with leaders from financial services firms and academic institutions, as well as diversity experts, to explore why so few people in different demographics choose to become part of the financial planning profession, develop recommendations for encouraging supporting those groups to pursue, say that fast 3 times, careers in financial planning, and create programs to implement those recommendations.
Thank you, Richard. Our next question is from Jeremy, who asks, I and many of my colleagues who are CFPs do not support the DOL Fiduciary Rule and feel that your lobbying for the rule is not a good use of the funds we pay. Did you seek the opinions of all CFP professionals before supporting the rule?
Well, it's a good question, and certainly it's about as hot a topic as you can get right now in terms of how we approach the DOL rule. And it's a core question in terms of how we might proceed. You know, reasonable people can disagree with respect to how regulatory actions take place and whether it's regulation that we need. But fundamentally, you have to remember what the mission of CFP Board is. And the mission is to serve the public. And as such, this is a profession that really requires there to be a high standard of conduct with a high level of competence. And so whenever you think about, even beyond that, the greater vision for the public valuing financial planning and benefiting from professionals adhering to a fiduciary standard, then that quickly leads you to believe that a rule that is advocating for the extension of fiduciary accountability to all those who provide advice certainly conforms to the mission and vision of the organization. So it's an area that we continue to watch closely. And, I think one of the things that we can also mention is that when we go out on situations of like going to certificate connections, Kevin, we regularly try and monitor exactly what the position of those in the field might be. And I can say that it's overwhelmingly supportive of that approach.
It is. It's not unanimous. Jeremy, I appreciate you asking the question. To very specifically answer your question, yes, on 3 different occasions, CFP Board sought input. We received not very much input. In fact, we received fewer than 3 dozen responses. And that gives us an opportunity, I think, to talk about another request for information that's going to be coming up here in a couple of months, and that'll be input on our new proposed standards of conduct. So, we take the feedback very important. So I would encourage you, I know we all get a lot of email, and you're out for a day and, the number is rolled up into 3 digits or more sometimes, but if you see a request for information, we need to hear your feedback in real time.
Absolutely, and we're going to be on the road for that for those events. And it's a great opportunity to interact, this time specifically on the commission's work, but then more generally, every year we hold such sessions.
Thank you. We've got another question coming in. This one's from Thomas. As you continue to focus on increasing the number of CFP certificates, are you also watering down the value of the designation? It looks like the pass rate over the last 20 years has continued to trend higher, pushing close to 70%.
I mean, I'll be happy to start and happy to hear the colleagues here. So look, there's no watering down. The pass rate has gone up a little bit. And if you look at the timeline of when the pass rate went up, it's correlated very closely to when we added the capstone course requirement. Now, if we think about the CFP exam, its purpose is to assess an individual's ability to integrate and apply the information that one learns in the CFP curriculum. So that's one extra course that's there in the curriculum, and the pass rate has gone up. It was 62%, I think, at the last go round. So it might be a little higher, but I think it's there. I'll tell you, we often get out on the road the question, well, you made the test easier. You made it, it used to be 2 days, and now it's 6 hours. It's usually how the question is asked. It actually was a day and a half, and now it's a day. And so, anyhow, we are continue to use the same item bank, and we obviously update and develop it. But I think we're doing a better job of preparing students to take the test.
Well, and on the issue of watering down, not only is that an issue where I think sometimes CFP professionals are concerned that they're going to have more competition out there, but once again, remember, the mission of CFP Board is to be there for the public and to promote the value of competent ethical financial planning and to provide more competent and ethical financial planners to serve that public. So in my mind, there's plenty of opportunity out there. There's so many people that still need to be served by our community that aren't being reached yet that we are a long, long, long way from saturation.
And one last thing I would add as well, and it really goes to, I think, the heart of the question here. When we are out there talking to certificants, one of their highest priorities that we hear is to uphold the standards and the high level of competency requirements that we have. And, Richard, where you and I sit in the director's seats, we take that extremely seriously. And so we're always looking to maintain the integrity of our standards. And as we talked about during our comments earlier, this is an opportunity for us to truly advance professionalism. So it's something that we take extremely seriously.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next question is from Vernell, who asks, is there an initiative to train CFP practitioners to be educators at the graduate or undergraduate level?
Well, I'm going to snag that one quick because that one has a great answer. So we'll definitely want to emphasize this one because this is truly exciting. We're very pleased that the Center for Financial Planning has collaborated with Columbia School of Professional Studies to offer a 5-day teaching certificate program. And as it's important to know that CFP Board works with more than 240 academic programs around the country to provide financial planning education. Most of those programs include CFP practitioners in the teaching and experiences that they provide to students. So there are a lot of CFP professionals who contribute as adjunct faculty, as I once did, and who provide mentoring or other services to students. So this new program is a great way for CFP professionals to gain a stronger foundation in the discipline of teaching financial planning. I wish it was around whenever I was teaching. So the program this May is full, but it will be offered again next January. So do keep an eye out for registration information.
And by full, we had 50-plus people sign up to take that course in New York for a week. So we're very excited about this program. And financial planners are by nature great teachers. Many of them come from a teacher background. And so I think this will put in place and really prepare more people to be in the classroom and teach CFP curriculum.
Thank you. Our next question is coming in from Luke, who asks, how can the CFP board help our degree programs become more visible in our own communities and on our own campuses?
Well, we've seen a lot of great instances of our registered programs coordinating with practitioners in their area to raise awareness of the programs and the profession. And this is an area, too, where working with our professional member associations, with NAPFA, with FPA, those organizations hold career days on campuses many times in conjunction with other CFP professionals or at local schools. They hold networking sessions that connect students and local firms, and public outreach like financial planning day programs that help students and practitioners provide pro bono services to the community. This is also an area to emphasize the Foundation for Financial Planning and the good work they do in this area, connecting CFP professionals. There's a lot of variety among our registered programs. That's something you need to keep in mind, and even among degree programs. And initiatives like this depend a lot on the program's specific structure and focus. And I would encourage you to contact CFP Board's education staff to discuss ideas and options that might be a good fit for your program and your geographic area.
Great, thank you, Richard. So our next question is coming in from John. Is there anything CFP Board can do to prevent the NCAA and ESPN from using CFP to promote their college football playoff?
Well, who asked that question? Who was it?
John.
Well, John, one of the challenges that we have is that we're regulating a profession essentially using trademark law, and it's an imperfect match at best. We've looked into this, and there's multiple uses, but the legal concept is that there's not really confusion among a certified financial planner in the college football playoff. So there really isn't, but we appreciate you asking.
Thanks, Kevin. Our next one comes from Linda, who asks, why doesn't the board adopt a retired status for CFP professionals that doesn't require so many continuing education credits and such a large annual fee? I hate to give up entirely a designation that I worked hard on and held for 26 years.
Well, Linda, thank you for asking that question. This was actually an agenda item on this week's board meeting. Your question is one that I've heard almost from my first day at CFP Board 10 years ago, and it comes up regularly. We have investigated options for offering a retired status. As I just said, one of the challenges of regulating a profession through trademark law is that we are bound by some rather archaic and stringent requirements. There are issues related to the protection of the CFP mark when we're using it in a way other than for something other than for folks who are retired. So there's some issues there, but we are continuing to explore options for people like Linda and others, and we hope to have some sort of option to provide in the near future.
Got it. Thanks, Kevin. And we've got a question coming in from Valerie, who asks whether CFP Board provides practice-related assistance for individual professionals. She notes that she is floundering all alone after practicing at a wirehouse for decades.
Well, this is you heard me mention earlier the idea of working with and reaching out to the membership associations that operate in our space, FPA and NAPFA. And this is an area where the profession's membership organizations can be of a great help. FPA and NAPFA are great resources for practice management and career development, regardless of how long you've been in the profession. They also provide great networking opportunities. There are many people out there who have the transition that you have and can have walked in your shoes and would be happy to share that experience. I think that's one of the greatest gifts of our profession is the willingness of people to share and give back, and that would be the first place I would look.
Absolutely, Richard. Thank you. And our last question for the day is coming in from Nick, who has shared the following. In being a conveyor and catalyst for financial planning and thinking about expanding the opportunities for both CFP professionals and the CFP brand, have you thought of partnering with the federal government when it comes to financial education?
Well, we have, and primarily through the Center for Financial Planning. We had papers presented at the Academic Research Colloquium from the Federal Reserve. We have been working with the Department of Treasury on financial capability, and so we think that there are a number of opportunities where appropriate for us to do just that.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. We are just about out of time. Blaine, what would you like to share as we wrap up the webinar?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today on this webinar, and also thank the CFP professional community for your support. CFP Board's mission is one we achieve largely through the work that all of you do with the public in demonstrating and upholding what the CFP certification means. Nearly all of CFP Board's accomplishments are made possible only because of the support from CFP professionals who have shared their time and expertise with us. So we very much appreciate that support, and we're really looking forward to working with you as we continue to further CFP Board's important mission. And I'm going to be out there on the road with a number of other individuals from CFP Board in these upcoming sessions for the Commission on Standards work. So this would be a good time for us to interact even more with the certificate community.
Well, and we'd like to thank all of you for sharing the last hour with us. We know your time is valuable, and we want to encourage everyone to take a look at the Center for Financial Planning and consider how you can support this important initiative. The work we plan to achieve through the Center cannot be done by one organization or firm alone. Your financial support is appreciated, and we also appreciate contributions of your time and subject matter expertise. Your contributions to the Center for Financial Planning will make a difference and support important research, advocacy, education, and workforce development initiatives that will advance the profession.
And Yusuf, I'd like to close by just reminding people of the mission of CFP Board, and that is to benefit the public by granting the certification, the CFP certification, and upholding it as the recognized standard of excellence. I know that there's nothing that we do here at CFP Board that serves the public. I mean, it's the work that the 76,000 plus CFP professionals do every day, meeting with clients, and the good work that you do that helps us deliver and achieve the mission. So, look, we're here at CFP Board. If you have questions, give us a call. If there's anything we can do, let us know, and we value the good working relationship that we have with the profession.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you all for sharing this update on CFP Board's work, and to everyone who joined us for today's webinar. Just so you know, a recording of this presentation will be posted to CFP Board's website within the next week, and CFP Board will follow up with anyone who asked questions that we did not have time to address during this broadcast by email.